And with that, I would like to announce Jamie Burke. He's the CEO and co-founder of Outlier Ventures. He's something very special to share with us today, so I'd say let's give it up for Jamie and show him what excitement looks like in this room. Come on, let's give it up.
So, firstly, thanks for the panel for accommodating the slight change of plans. And I guess this is what curiosity looks like, or either you're just too lazy to leave your seats whilst I do it. So I was supposed to be doing a presentation on convergence. Convergence is the investment thesis of Outlier Ventures we've been developing for the last 2 years. If you go to our website, you'll find the latest Convergence 2.0 white paper, which has taken quite a bit of work as we've evolved and have been investing in the space. But what better way to demonstrate convergence than to bring a fantastic project on stage? So I'm going to introduce you to a company called Fetch.ai. We've been working with them for 14 months. Often the word next generation blockchain is overused, should we say. But really this is probably the best example of a step change in blockchain and distributed ledger technology. Made up of some brilliant people, over 20 machine learning experts from Cambridge in the UK, and some early DeepMind team members. So without ado, I'm going to introduce the project.
A good idea happens in a split second. You can try to possess it, keep it locked up, or you can let it grow, share it, set it free. Technology should bring ideas to life. So why is it holding us back? Demanding our time and attention, limiting us with outmoded infrastructure, disconnected data, and aging economic models. What if our technology could work with us, not against us? What if we could teach it to think for itself, to solve its own problems, and create a new, intelligent economy, a dynamic marketplace, unlocking the power of data, constantly evolving and learning, powering innovation, and bringing ideas to life? Welcome to Fetch. Fetch is an AI and digital economics company. We create dynamic marketplaces so that everyone can monetize the data they own and get access to the data they need. We've created a safe, secure, and trusted digital ecosystem with the power to transform the way we live and do business. Fetch is made possible by its open economic framework, a map for a new world in which real and unreal estate exist in harmony. The framework enables the interaction of these marketplaces to interpret and provide efficiency within a trusted infrastructure. Working on our behalf across this framework are digital organisms called autonomous economic agents. Constantly evaluating their findings, autonomous economic agents trade with one another. They work intelligently to perform transactions in the marketplace, together, by themselves, in serial or in parallel. They cooperate to solve larger problems, providing you with friction-free income from your data and assets. The stability and integrity of this system is maintained by an open, decentralized environment called the Open Economic Ledger. Here, each transaction is rated to build trust and security for the future, whilst addressing regulatory concerns. The sum of these parts is Fetch, a future that actively adapts itself to you. Take transport, for example. Imagine all the moving parts in the most complex journeys working silently and tirelessly to deliver you, your cargo, and your data effectively and with precision, allowing autonomous vehicles to avoid gridlock, selling their excess power, trading their data, switching modes as and when required, all in real time. Or imagine a marketplace for energy unconstrained by siloed static networks able to think for itself and dynamically trade, either as a power station or just a single solar panel. All of this and more is possible with Fetch, providing the framework and tools for a connected, intelligent economy. A living ecosystem, thinking for itself and thinking for you. The future will come alive, and it all starts right here.
Please give it up for the co-founders of Fetch that will still add a few words to what we've just seen.
So thank you all, and it's a pleasure, and it's a very exciting time to be here to introduce you to Fetch. Thank you, Jamie. It's been a pleasure working with you guys for the last 14 months. I think it's heading up to 15 months now. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. So we're introducing to you the world's first smart ledger and more. I'm Humayun Sheikh. I'm co-founder and CEO of Fetch. Background, I was one of the first investors in DeepMind, and also in commodity trading, building algorithms for the last 10 years. Introduce you to Toby.
Hi, I'm Toby Simpson in my best Troy McClure from The Simpsons thing. You may remember me from such voiceovers as the video you just saw. And I must confess it was a lot easier to do that than it is to stand up and do this. My background is in computer games. I got involved with a product called Creatures in the mid-90s, which taught me that there was a different way of managing software complexity by building large populations of simple things which we understood and allowing complex behavior to emerge that solved problems which we didn't necessarily need to understand how those solutions were reached. Went on to introduce that technology in the construction of massively multiplayer online world, and then also looked at nature's contribution to artificial intelligence at DeepMind, before ending up involved in Fetch, which of course is the construction of the largest digital world with the biggest of populations that I could possibly have imagined.
Our other co-founder is Thomas Hain, who is hopefully watching us from Japan at this point in time. You've heard many projects. I want to tell you our story. Why are we here together? What are we doing? My background is in computing, but also in commodity trading. For the last 10 years, we've been building algorithms to do trading. And as you probably all know, machine learning and AI, the most beneficial it has been is in price determination, commodity trading. While I was doing that, and while we were working, trying to implement these algorithms into this virtual world, which Toby was working on, we're trying to bring the two together in a way that it makes sense. You can actually trial new things. You can actually build these new virtual worlds. And introduce into that the machine learning and AI. The best implementation of machine learning and AI has always been in the virtual worlds. You've all seen the gaming side of things. But now it's about time that we bring it to the real world. For the last 10 years, we have looked at different sectors, and what we have found, either be it in commodity trading or mobility or energy, there are inefficiencies, and these inefficiencies cost you. It costs the economy. So we're trying to bring those down. I mean, we've all seen empty seats. We have all seen traffic jams. They all cost the economy. So just a few numbers for your attention, and I think we'll move on quickly from there. So what we found was, if you look at what is causing these inefficiencies and how can we remove these inefficiencies, you look at the connected systems, and data plays a very important role in it. If you can connect the systems, you can connect the data, you can reduce the inefficiencies. Another point which is completely missing from most of the analytics we look at is context. If you include context into things, you can make better predictions. Correlations. You need to build correlations. Why machine learning and algorithms have been very good in predicting prices is because they can build correlations. You can bring different industries together, you can put them together, you can form new correlations. New correlations enable you to develop new economies. A very good example, as you can see on the graph, the blue line shows you, without these three, added to a price prediction and a hedge model, and the orange line shows you what benefits you can actually increase it by if you add all three of those.
Brilliant, thank you. Now, which is the magic button? That one, cool. Okay, sorry, I have to do this with some notes, otherwise there is a risk that I'll stand here and say, this is fetch, and then pass it straight back to Hermione, which wouldn't be entirely fair. Today's world is surprisingly disconnected, perhaps ironically so, given how connected that we supposedly are these days. And it's absolutely jam-packed, as Hermione said, with underutilized assets. Hotel rooms that lie empty, shipping containers that travel the globe only half full, a power and a transport infrastructure that has shocking peaks and troughs in its usage. The digital world is complex, and it requires more and more of our effort in order to make any sense out of it, whereas it should do that work for us. It should adapt to us, and we shouldn't have to adapt to it. As the amount of data on the global network goes up, it is harder and harder to find what we want. So we tend to discard all bar the obvious, which is an incredible waste, particularly in the machine-to-machine economy, because believe it or not, the global network is designed for us and not them. On top of this, more and more data is held in centralized silos, and it's out of reach of those that need it most, and perhaps most relevantly, given the news of the last couple of weeks, out of our individual control. Centralized systems don't play well together. They are poorly organized for bottom-up problem solving, the kind of bottom-up problem solving that today's dynamic adaptive worlds actually require. So is decentralization... Oh, sorry. So, this is going well, isn't it? So imagine a world where devices, services, and digital entities and human entities, regardless of what they are, were able to talk to each other, regardless of the protocols that they used, and regardless of the languages that they spoke. Imagine a world that reorganized itself to present a perfect environment for each and every user, regardless of whether or not they were a machine or a human, where data gets up on its own 2 feet and sells itself, dramatically reducing the cost to deliver value and freeing up data that would not have been free before. Imagine harnessing all of the network's computation power to do useful work, to build intelligence, learning about marketplaces, how and when and under what conditions they intersect, but also building trust on these agents and transactions, so that you can look at a given transaction, look at the conditions under which it's presented, and decide for yourself whether that transaction should be trusted. Imagine a Web 3.0 that is a place that you go and not something that you just observe, and one that is full of digital and human entities, a space that is perfectly optimized to do business. Is this ambitious? Yes. Yes, it is. I wasn't going to say that, sorry.
Hell yeah, it is.
So he's been trying to make me say that for quite some time. So is decentralization the solution? On the surface, absolutely, yes it is. But it is a very ineffective use of computing power, a power that can most definitely be put to better use. And also scalability and performance are a big problem. The future economy of human, machine, and digital entity activity is going to require a whole new level of performance and scalability. And also there's no geography. What's next door to Amazon? What's just down the road from Google? The mere concepts are meaningless. But it can't be for a machine-to-machine space. Those machines need to be able to navigate, they need to be able to see, and they need to be able to explore. And then there's the ledgers. Ledgers don't transform their activity and data into something useful. They're dumb. But decentralization, when it is done right, is the key enabler. It's inclusive. Your stuff is owned by you, and it's free of centralized control. It's the starting block for so many of the bigger things that we are all collectively working on. Which brings us to Fetch. Fetch is a decentralized digital world in which economic activity takes place. This activity is done by autonomous economic agents. They act on your behalf or their own behalf. They can work together, they can work alone, and they work to find value, to deliver value, or both. These agents connect to their world using the open economic framework. This is their world. It's their eyes, their ears, their touch. It presents a tailored view just for them. And it's dynamic. Things go in and out of vision. They grow, they shrink. And that is according to the relevance of those objects. And it also allows agents to move around that world. It's their feet. It allows them to advertise the value that they are providing, and it allows them to package up general purpose computation to have it done by the network, and also to hook in opportunistically, to look at the searches that didn't work, the actions that didn't work out, to see if actually, on reflection, they would have been able to contribute to that particular thing. Underpinning all of this is the smart ledger, the Fetch Smart Ledger. This works using useful proof of work. The consensus is delivered in that way. And we are developing the open economic framework and the ledger, but we are enabling the construction of autonomous economic agents. And of course, providing access to SDKs, as well as drag and drop and instant creation things where you can trivially add agents to data sources and services and set them free on the Fetch network. In order to do this, we've needed to come up with a number of key innovations. And highest on that list is a ledger that scales, and we mean really scales. Because when you're looking at millions of agents, perhaps tens of millions of agents, all cooperating to solve big problems, it can be seen very quickly how kind of scalability that we're going to be requiring. And also there's a great number of low-value transactions that you need rapid confirmation on. And if you can't get that rapid confirmation, you need the trust information that allows you to be able to decide whether or not it's likely to be confirmed. In order to deliver this ledger, we drew from blockchain-type structures, but also directed acyclic graphs, and a novel new transaction lane system that allows parallel contract execution while still preventing double-spend attacks. We believe that to be unique. Our working prototypes, so this is not theoretical, these are our working code, actually are generating 30,000 transactions executed per second, and we're not quite sure where the upper limit lies, but we're believing that we can get millions of transactions per second on this network. Consensus is reached by useful proof of work. What does that mean? It means we're packaging up computation tasks for execution by the network, either to build network intelligence for the benefit of all, or to perform general purpose computation required by the users. And they support the evolution of new concepts as well. These chunks can join together in different ways. The connections between them can reinforce or they can decay, depending on the value of the new insights that they delivered. It's almost neural in its structure. There are also huge opportunities for solving parallel processing problems, and we're exploring several biotech opportunities as well. The OEF is our open economic framework. This is the digital world whose job it is to put somebody who has value very close to somebody who can provide that value or who might be able to provide that value. And it speculatively places based on the network intelligence. And the more successful it is, the more successful it becomes. Fetch is a construction of a self-organizing world. It's full of complex emergent behavior, and it adapts itself to the needs of its users through artificial intelligence and machine learning. And I will now pass you back to Hermione to talk about what those have to do with it.
Well, we'll just keep it short. Everybody wants to know what's machine learning and AI got to do with it. What we're building is a smart ledger. We're including intelligence into that ledger. We're not making a dumb ledger. What you have is information which doesn't exist on these distributed ledgers. I'm going to keep it short because I think we're running out of time. If you look at what this machine learning algorithms will do for us, it does real-time analytics. There is no platforms which are decentralized which enable that. We're talking about making data not just come to you, but using data to deliver actionable results. We have autonomous agents who will analyze the data, who deliver the results. You don't have to go and put compute power on it. You don't have to find the data. It's costly. Putting the compute power is costly. We are integrating it within our framework. So it's not another data marketplace. It is the actionable marketplace where things happen. And the network which rewards the individual intelligence, which is based on the AEAs, but it also evolves into a collective superintelligence. What we're building is small tasks delivering something big. We're delivering not a revolution, we're delivering an evolution. Because if you put all of this together, what you deliver is the collective superintelligence. Market positioning, I'm going to be very quick because I think you guys probably worked out where we are in terms of numbers throwing. we're not interested in those numbers. What we are interested in are the numbers which don't exist. We're interested in the numbers which we will generate ourselves. The new marketplaces will open up. The new marketplaces will unlock. That's what is exciting us. We're excited about it because we don't know what the sizes are, and we expect them to be huge. We have a team in Cambridge. We're a team of 22. We're doing machine learning. As you all know, it's not an easy task to hire machine learning people, but we have been able to because the depth of the project is such that everybody wants to work for us. I'm going to keep it short. The timeline is available for you as a slide if anybody wants to go through it, because I think we're running out of time. Right, so what I invite you all is to build this new collective superintelligence, and let's do it together. Thank you very much.